Hey guys, welcome back, hope you're all well. So today I thought we'd take a look at my PlayStation collection, that being the PS1 through to PlayStation 4. And I don't have a lot of games for the PS1, 2 and 4, but I've got enough to talk about, and the PS3 is a near enough done collection. I've only got a few games that I need to find for that system at this point. So I thought it'd be really cool to just go over all 4 PlayStations. The system's been around now for 25 years. It makes sense really, it's really cool. So, starting off with the PlayStation 1, or the PlayStation, or the PS1, whatever you prefer to call it. So, the first game I've got is 007 Racing. Now, I picked this up because I'm a big Bond fan, I love Bond games. More fan of the games than the films, to be quite honest with you. Film-wise, it's sort of Pierce Brosnan, Daniel Craig, that's really what I like. But yeah, I got this game in a bundle, and I thought it'd be pretty cool. I wanted to get it because it was the only Bond game I didn't have. Yeah, it's not that good. Yeah, very disappointed actually, to be honest with you. It doesn't play very well at all, so yeah. But you know, I'll keep it in the collection because it's a Bond game. Next one I've got is, oh yeah, okay. So it's Delta Force Urban Warfare, which is a first-person shooter that came out near the end of the life, I believe. It was quite late, I think it was 2002 or something this came out. Interesting game, very cool to see that kind of first-person shooter on a PlayStation, because there's some good FPS games back then. But that one's actually got like joystick control, and it feels pretty modern actually. It's quite surprising how well the controls are laid out on the system. Some of it's a bit weird, like the triangle button to pick things up doesn't always work great, and you have to use the triangle button in combination with other buttons to do secondary options. It's a bit odd. But basically it's just like it's just a military game basically. I was trying to think what's that bloody series called, like Rainbow Six, but not as tactical. It's just literally just walking around shooting terrorists. It's pretty tough and all. I can't get off the second level. Is it second level? Might be. I don't know. The one me on the boat, I think it's the second level. But yeah, it's alright, it's decent. The graphics though, I mean, to be quite honest, for the time, because it was 2002, the graphics are incredible. To see that run on the PlayStation was really quite impressive. Next game is one of my absolute favourite PlayStation games, and that is, oh, a game that's going to fall on the floor. That game is Die Hard Trilogy, so 3 games in one. Big fan of Die Hard Trilogy, I loved it back in the day, still love it to this day. I generally just play Die Hard 2 because it's a light gun game, and I love light gun games, and that is a fantastic game, and I've played it so many times, finished it a lot of times, and yeah, I always, whenever I need something quick and easy just to pop on and have a blast, Die Hard 2 is usually where I go. Next one is the sequel, Die Hard Trilogy 2, which I only recently picked up about a month or 2 ago. Really good actually, better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, the graphics are completely different, they're more digitised. I think I kind of prefer the sort of pixelated look of the first one when it comes to Die Hard 2. I think the Die Hard Trilogy 2, the Die Hard 1 version, God, this is complicated. The first game, which is based on the original Die Hard, is a lot better on Die Hard Trilogy 2. It's a bit more interesting. Whereas, because on the first one you have to like kill a load of terrorists and then run to the lift before the bomb goes off. But in the second one, you've got to find key cards and find your way around areas and stuff. It's a bit more in depth. Die Hard 2 part is really good, but it's really, really hard because I don't have a light gun. And on the original Die Hard trilogy, I've gotten very good at using the D-pad, and I can kick ass and complete the game. But on Die Hard Trilogy 2, it's really, really tough, and you can use analog, and analog actually surprisingly works better than digital. Digital, the D-pad. But the analog stick, it's just so slippery, and it's really hard sometimes. You have to really play it a lot, well at least I have anyway, to really adapt to the sensitive nature of the analog stick, because I just miss people otherwise. Very hard. I think with a proper light gun, it could be absolutely epic, because it's got some really cool design to it. So yeah, very cool. I haven't tried the third part of Die Hard Trilogy 2 yet. I wasn't a fan of the first Die Hard Trilogy, to be quite honest with you. Just driving the taxi around, it was alright. Next one of the best games on the system, a game that blew me away when it came out back in 1999, and that is of course Medal of Honor from DreamWorks. Fantastic game. Played through it a few months ago when I picked it up. Still great, still holds up exceptionally well. The sound effects, the atmosphere, you know, the dogs, the Nazis, the level design, the guns, the sound effects, the explosions, just, you know, everything, even the little bit of stealth that you have to do, you have to show your papers. It's just extremely nostalgic, but also objectively a brilliant game. It still holds up well, still controls well, plays well, it's a ton of fun. Love Medal of Honor. And then of course after that I went and picked up the sequel, Medal of Honor Underground. Another fantastic game. I finally finished this for the first time a few months ago. Never managed to do it back in the day, I got stuck. And it's great, I really like the second one a lot actually. Now you play as a completely different character, a character called Manon, who's a French resistance fighter, a female. And it's really cool, the graphics are better, it's a lot more colour and depth to it. The level design is just as good as the first one, and the sound effects and music and all the gameplay are absolutely rock solid. It's an absolute ton of fun. There's a lot more stealthy sections as well where you're pretending to be, I can't remember if it was a reporter or what it was, but you basically got a camera and you have to kind of take in photos of the Nazis and they pull funny poses. Really cool, really great game. Those two games are absolutely superb on the PlayStation. Recent pickup that I haven't shown yet, which will be in a pickup video at some point, is Medieval. I picked this up just because I've never played it really. I think I played a demo disc version back in the 90s. It's alright, I'll be honest with you, I'm not that keen on it. I tried playing it for a couple of days and it's just okay. I haven't got this nostalgia, and I think a lot of the time with PlayStation games, because of the graphics being the way they are, nostalgia really does help a lot. But, you know, objectively some games you can just play and they're just great fun anyway, they're just good games. But Medieval, I'm not really getting into it, so I don't think I'll pick up the sequel, but we'll see. I'll put some more time into it. Next game I have is one that my good friend BlueTonic78, Alex, recommended, which is called Motorhead High Velocity Entertainment. It's a racing game, very nice graphics, really cool 90s dance soundtrack. Fun little game actually, I'm pretty terrible at it. I haven't managed to get first place yet, but yeah, decent little game. Okay, then we go on to another racing game, and that is Rage Racer. It's alright, I'll be honest, I'd probably say this is going to be my least favourite now. I always thought the Ridge Racer Evolution, or Revolution, is it Evolution? Or, I think it's Evolution. Anyway, I thought that would be my least favourite one. But having played the games recently, this one is my least favourite. I just don't find this particularly appealing. I love the Ridge Racer games, but yeah, I was pretty underwhelmed when I played that one. It didn't really do anything different, it didn't change much at all, it's quite boring. Next one I've got is another game that I picked up recently, I need to put in a pickup video. It's a game called Rally Championship, and this one was recommended by a guy called Shaolin Skunks, who left a comment recommending this a while ago. So I picked it up, and this is another one of those games where you look at it and you think, how the hell is that running on a PlayStation? The graphics are incredible for the time, they're absolutely exceptional. I mean, it's borderline PlayStation 2 level, like launch level graphics. It's really impressive. It plays okay. I think that the controls are not particularly great. The car doesn't control very well, and I found it quite difficult getting around the track. It feels a bit like when I played Rally Sport Challenge on the Xbox at launch, and I tended to go off the track more than I did stay on it. But it's still a really cool game. It's just cool, and it's full screen as well, by the way, which is weird. It's got no borders, very strange. So it must have been optimised. But you play it, and just for the visuals alone, it's just like, wow. The fact that PlayStation was able to do that, really impressive. Next game, beautiful jewel case. The original Ridge Racer, which still holds up well. Very limited, because it is an arcade port, so fundamentally you just get a couple of tracks and difficulty changes, and when you change the difficulty, the track essentially just has like different bends, or has a sunset, or just little differences, but I still like it. I mean, yeah, the car feels like a tank, and you know, it's not particularly fun to control. But once you get to grips with the way that it works, you get into it, and you kind of find, and you can't drift. That's the hardest thing, going back and playing old Ridge Racers where you can't drift. It's a nightmare. But once you do it and you get used to the controls and you just get back in the groove, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's great. It's a lot of fun. And again, as I say, it's an arcade port, so it's one of those where you can just whack it on, have a quick half an hour, and you're satisfied. Next game I've got is, oh, it was Revolution. Ridge Racer Revolution, which I couldn't believe when I picked. I always remembered this being my least favourite, as I said earlier, but Rage Racer is now, because I played this and it's actually really good. I mean, to be fair, from Ridge Racer to Rage Racer, the three games, Ridge Racer Revolution and Rage Racer, there isn't a whole lot of difference between them, to be quite honest. They're pretty similar. I would probably say Ridge Racer is at the top still the best one of the three. The other two are just slight iterations, but I prefer Revolution. It feels better when I'm playing it. I don't have 4 yet, I've got to get that, because that's the one I played back in the 90s, and I love that game to bits. It's fantastic. Next we have a Bond game, and it is Tomorrow Never Dies, which I finally finished a few months back for the first time ever. Couldn't do that back in the day, I got stuck on that because the controls are terrible. It's really good, really surprised actually how much fun I enjoyed that, how much fun I had with that game and how much I enjoyed it. Get your words out, Pete. The graphics are really cool and colourful. The controls, as I say, are a bit wonky, but as long as you just free aim and don't really try and like you can't iron sight, but you know what I mean, don't hold the button down. You just, I mean, sometimes you have to when you're taking distance shots with the sniper rifle. For the most part, you can just run and gun, and if you run and gun, you tend to do better in the game. Really cool level design, decent enough story in it. You know, it follows the film, my least favourite Bond film. But I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. Managed to finish it. The only bit I had trouble with was the one bit near the end where you have to blow the helicopter up. It was a pain in the arse. Took a lot of attempts to get that right, and I thought I was doing it wrong until I checked YouTube, and I was like, no, I am doing it right. And essentially, you have to just run through the door, run through the gate, and just try and blow it up as quick as possible. It's a pain. It's really difficult, but yeah. Apart from that, it's fantastic, and I'd definitely recommend playing through that, guys. Next one is an absolute beauty, a classic, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Amazing. The soundtrack on this game, and it just takes me back to my 20s when I was heavy into the new metal scene. I was going to the clubs and everything. It's got like Papa Roach on there, it's got Power Man 5000, it's got Public Enemy on there, Rage Against the Machine. It's just absolutely spectacular. And I've just been playing the hangar level. It is the hangar level, yeah. I've just been playing that to death of late. Just been doing free skating, just going around the track and just doing jumps and grinds and just and you know, transfers, and it's just awesome. It's so good. I need to get the first one again because the first one was brilliant. You can get 3 and 4 on PlayStation, but quite honestly, I wouldn't bother. I've played them before, they're not very good ports, and it's better on the PlayStation 2 or the Xbox. Then we have 007, The World Is Not Enough. Another game which absolutely blew my mind because, to be quite honest, I've played it in the past and I could never get off the first level. I never understood what you're supposed to do, and I hadn't seen the film at the time, and then of course I realised that you have to use a suitcase to jump out the window. Didn't know that, and that's why I got stuck and it drove me crazy. Now I knew that, now I know it, it's a lot easier. And I played the game when I got it a few months back, went all the way through it, and it's brilliant. It's one of my favourite first-person shooters of that era now. Graphically, it's absolutely stunning. The controls are really tight. It's a ton of fun to play through. Really, really impressed actually. Really good game. Even this, because obviously you're talking like VCD quality of video here. So in between the levels, you get clips from the film to set the next level up. They're actually pretty decent considering, as I say, it's probably VCD at this stage. You know, it certainly wasn't DVD because that wasn't even around. So yeah, and VCD was shit. So it was really surprising how good it looks. But yeah, brilliant game. And then the last PlayStation 1 game I've got at the moment is X2 from Team 17, the old Amiga developer. It's a really cool little 2D shooter. Really great, gorgeous graphics, brilliant sound. Same guys that made Project X, so it's a little bit tough. Not as hard as Project X, thank God, but yeah, it can be quite difficult. But it's a great horizontal shoot 'em up. So I definitely recommend checking that one out. So guys, let's crack on and let's have a look at my PlayStation 2 collection. Okay, and onto the PlayStation 2. Now the first game I've got for you is a Bond game. That is going to be a theme money for my PlayStation collection because I absolutely love Bond games. And this one is 007 Quantum of Solace, which is absolutely brilliant. I played through it for the first time properly recently. I played again another game where I've gotten stuck in the past and never gone back to it. And then when I picked it up this time, I thought, I'm going to do this. And I sat down and played it day after day until I completed it. And it's fantastic. The graphics are absolutely stunning on it. Really, really impressive graphics. Really cool likeness of Daniel Craig and all for the technology at the time. Really quite impressed with that. The controls are relatively good, but sometimes the aiming can be a bloody nightmare, especially the zoom aim. But I'm getting better the more I play it and more practice I put into it. But it's essentially, it's just a third-person cover shooter. As you'll know, there was a game that came out also at the same time, around the same time, on PS3 and the Xbox 360. That's a combo of FPS and cover shooting. This one's just a cover shooter. And I think it works better as a cover shooter, to be quite honest. As much as I love that game on the PS3 and Xbox 360, this version as a cover shooter works really well. Most of the levels are the same design. They've changed a little bit in some parts, they've taken bits out. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I was really surprised how good it was. The likeness of Daniel Craig's really good, the story's really good, the level designs are excellent, and it's just a really fun game to just run around shooting people in. So yeah, definitely recommend that one. Next is another game that really surprised me and blew me away, and that is 24 the game. I'm a huge fan of the TV show. As you can see behind me, I've got all the DVDs and Blu-rays back there. You can see the DVDs, you probably can't see the Blu-rays, but they are there. So I've got all, I think it was 8, 9 seasons. I think it was 8 seasons with Jack Bauer, and then it was the other one, which I can't remember the name of it. I've got them all anyway. So I'm a huge fan of the show. I loved it when it was on. And this game is absolutely exceptional. It's set between seasons 2 and 3. And so you've got characters like Chase back in there, which was Jack's daughter's boyfriend. Yeah, and you get to play. The thing I love the most was you get to play as multiple characters. You can play as Jack, Tony, Michelle. You get to play as Chase, and they really vary up the gameplay all the way through, and it's really fun. So again, it's not really a cover shooter because you can shoot as you're running, but essentially that's what it is. Another third-person cover action shooting game. Brilliant. Graphics are gorgeous. The storytelling is absolutely exceptional. It's just like watching the TV show. They do all the little transitions and all the box outs and all that, and all the sound effects there, and got all the actual actors to play the parts. Yeah, really, really impressive. That's another thing. You also get to play as Kim as well. I forgot to say that. The daughter of Jack Bauer. Excellent game. If you're a fan of the show, play the game. You'll absolutely adore it. Even if you're not, just play it because it's such a brilliantly told cinematic experience. Next one we've got is a best first-person shooter of that generation, which is Black. Incredible game. The game I've talked about ridiculous amount of times on my channel over the years, and usually the Xbox version, but the PlayStation 2 version is very good actually. It really holds up nice. If you've got a good SCART cable and a decent CRT, the quality of the graphics are absolutely exceptional on it. It really surprised me actually how good it looks. I'd love to do a side-by-side to see how much difference actually is between PS2 and Xbox, because the PS2 one, very impressed. But yeah, if you don't know what it is, basically a first-person shooter. It's a spy story. They set up the mission with little cinematics between each level, pretty standard stuff. And then you just go around and blow the shit out of people and blow stuff up, and it says on the back, go in all guns blazing. So all of the environments are destructible. You can throw grenades around, use big guns, shooting terrorists. It's absolutely fantastic and easily the best first-person shooter of that generation, even above Halo in my opinion. Next one is Britney's Dance Beat. I'm a big Britney Spears fan. This is just a rhythm game basically. Britney dances and you have to press the buttons in time. Pretty decent. Then we have one of my favourite games on PlayStation 2 exclusively, and that is Cold Winter. Incredible first-person shooter, another spy storyline. Absolutely stunning, man. The storyline is brilliant. It's got emotion, it's got heart, you've got great characters. It's just absolutely superb. You hop around the world. The first-person shooting is top-notch. The violence is top-notch. The guns are great. Honestly, it is easily one of the best first-person shooters ever made. Again, of that generation. That generation had so many good first-person shooters. But if you're talking about a cinematic storytelling first-person shooter, then Cold Winter is right up there. And definitely, I wish more people talked about that game because it is absolutely superb. Next, we've got The Getaway and The Getaway Black Monday. They were good back in the day, not so much now. I think I've tried to play them, and to be fair, the controls are pretty terrible. They're quite rough. They look really nice and they're really cool and cinematic, and they've got that whole Cockney Guy Ritchie gangster thing going on. But yeah, I find them really difficult to play, unfortunately. But then they're just GTA games. Then we have Killzone, the only good Killzone. I'm not a fan of Killzone at all. I find the games really boring. As I said before, Guerrilla Games, beautiful games that they make, really bloody boring though. But that one actually is really good. Got incredible graphics for the PlayStation 2 as well, really nice. Very muddy and grey and dark like a lot of games were. But it is, yeah, it's exceptionally good. Very, very fun to play through. Then I've got Made Man. Is it Man? Yeah, Made Man, which is a very ropey, like B-movie style mafia story, which is a third-person action game. I don't think there's any cover in it. There might be. It doesn't really matter. You just shoot people. The story's a bit shit and the acting's pretty terrible. And the game's just ropey as hell, but it's worth playing. It's just one of them mindless ones where you just stick it on and you just run around gunning people down. Then we've got Medal of Honor Vanguard, which is an absolutely brilliant Medal of Honor game. I'm a big fan of the Medal of Honor series, by the way, if you didn't realise that. Yeah, I've got all the way to the end of the game and I can't finish it, and it's driving me crazy. For months now, I've been trying to do that last level, and it's an absolute nightmare. You have to get through Sniper Alley, which is a pain in the arse. When you eventually get through that, you got a bit at the end where you got to blow some guys up, and there's a tank, and it's just, yeah, it's incredibly difficult. But besides that, the game itself is really, really fun. I had a lot of fun playing through it. The controls are absolutely spot on. They're really, really well thought out. Graphics are beautiful. Sound and music and sound effects and music are excellent. It's a great game. One of my favourite Medal of Honors now. Excellent. Especially that generation, because that generation Medal of Honor did not do too well. We had Frontline, which was Rising Sun, which was not very good, but the local multiplayer was really good. And we had European Assault, which was, for me, the best one until I played Vanguard. Now Vanguard's the best one. Vanguard's excellent. Another great game for back in the day I used to play the shit out of. Quake 3 Revolution. Love an arena shooter, you can't go wrong with Quake 3. The sound effects of the guns, man, it just takes me right back to that time. Exceptional game. Next one is a game I bought, not knowing much about it. I just heard it was a good exclusive. I thought I'd try it, and it's actually brilliant. And it's Shocks, which is a really beautiful, colourful racing game. And you basically go through the shock zone, and you've got to get from one part. When it activates, you have to get to another part of it. What is it like a checkered flag kind of thing? But I can't remember how to explain this. Yeah. You have to just, as soon as the shocks activate, you have to just race to the next checkpoint. That's what I was thinking of the word checkpoint. And you get gold, silver and bronze depending on how fast you get there. Really cool game. I'm still having difficulty really understanding how the speed works, because it feels like the pressure sensitive in the buttons works or not. I don't know, it's a bit odd. I'm not too sure if you're supposed to press hard on the button or if it just doesn't race as fast as I want it to race. But good looking game and it's fun to play. Another game that I got, I don't know why I said that. This is a game I got at launch, which is an absolutely stunner. Silent Scope. I love this game. Classic arcade game. Ton of fun. Brilliant on the PlayStation 2. Really, really good game. And I played the hell out of that at launch. That and Tekken Tag Tournament got the most play out of me. After I tried Time Splitters, of course, which was awesome. But it's a bit limited. Now we've got Smuggler's Run 2. Hostile Territory. I need to get the first one, but I love the Smuggler's Run games. A game that, you know, that series needs a reboot for definite. Fantastic game, Rockstar. Really fun. Same as the first one, really. Just running around picking up packages and racing against the computer, and it's just great. It's just that simplicity of those games at that time, which I absolutely love. And then we have Time Crisis 2, which is an essential game for me because I love my light gun games and I love the Time Crisis series. This one in particular, I played the hell out of this at the arcades. I used to love that massive cabinet with the two screens and guns. It was awesome, and this is an exceptionally good port. It's really, really fun to play this one. I need to get a G-Con 2 because I haven't got one yet. And then the last game I've got is Time Crisis 3, which I like. It's good. It's not as good as Time Crisis 2, but I still enjoy playing through it because you can't go wrong with a light gun game. Okay, strap in guys. PS3 time, and there's a fair few games to get through here, so get comfortable. First up is no surprise, just like the last part with the PS2, we got a Bond game. Yay! It's Quantum of Solace again. Yeah, from Treyarch. As I said previously, it's a first-person / third-person game, a game that I absolutely love, and I've played it a ridiculous amount of times now. I've played it so many times, it's just silly. And yeah, it follows the film. A lot of it is Casino Royale, not Quantum of Solace. You do a little bit of Quantum of Solace, but because the film was not that well received, I think, and it didn't have enough of a story, I suppose they thought to really make a game out of, which, you know, to be fair, when you watch it back, it's nowhere near as bad as people say it is. It gets better the more you watch it. But yeah, it goes for a bit of Quantum of Solace, and then it does one of those, tell me a story about what happened in the past, and you go back to do the Casino Royale sections, and it's fantastic. And as I say, it's mostly a first-person shooter game, but when you get loads of enemies, you can go into cover shooting mode, and you'll just sort of, it's really weird. It sort of goes from first person, and then you see Bond just sitting behind the wall. It's kind of odd, but it works. It works really well, and the controls are excellent, and it's a great game. And I've always said that anyone who hasn't played it should absolutely give it a try. It's one of the greatest games of that generation. Next one is, which one is it? Battlefield 3. Really cool at the time. Haven't played it for a long time. I mean, obviously, you know, I remember when it came out and the demo came out, I think it was E3, and they showed that, remember that classic demo where they're in the back of the truck and the doors open and they walk out and there's all the sunlight, and then they walk down the alleyway and they get to a point where there's a car park and the sniper, and yeah, it was really cool, and the graphics were absolutely fantastic at the time. I really liked it. I really enjoyed the campaign, actually. I thought it was pretty decent. It wasn't as good as the Call of Duty campaigns in terms of story, but it was still a lot of fun to play through. Then we got Battlefield 4, which again, really liked it. Story was okay. Just really enjoyed the level design more than anything. It was a lot of fun. It does have a bug on the bit where you have to get into the helicopter. So if you die, the game reboots and you get a black screen. You have to start from scratch, which is a pain in the ass. Graphically, absolutely stunning though. I'll give it that. Then we have Beyond Two Souls. Big fan of Quantic Dream. And Beyond Two Souls is not their greatest game, I'll say that. But I still really enjoyed it and had a lot of fun with it. And I thought the story was actually really well told. Yeah, it was alright, it was good. I mean, it gets a bit weird with the whole Native American part and everything, and the whole game's a bit odd, to be quite honest. But yeah, at least they tried something different, that's what I'll say. Then we have Bionic Commando, which is a game I've not managed to finish. I've tried and I've never done it, I've always got stuck. Pretty good reboot actually, pretty decent. I've got a good gameplay of it on my channel from back in the day. Really cool third-person action game, just a lot of fun. Another Bond game, one of my absolute favourites, Bloodstone. I've played this one to death as well. This is like one of my go-to games that I've played a million times now. Third-person cover shooting, completely independent of the Bond films, just a game they made, and very good one too. The only downside is the cutscenes. The faces look terrible. The graphics are bloody awful. But the storyline's really fun. You've got Joss Stone in it for some reason. But mostly the gameplay is really good. The only downside I've always said about this game is Bizarre Creations that made this, who made Project Gotham, who are obviously really good at making car games. But for some reason the car sections in this game are shite, and they just drive you insane, and you'll just end up rage quitting a lot, which I used to do. A lot of the time I find it's like there's one section where you're driving a car down a road, and there's shit just blown up all over the place, and there's so much going on, and particle effects and graphical effects and explosions, and it makes it really hard to see where the road is and where you're supposed to go. And the same when you're on the ice as well. A lot of the time I used to just fall in the water because you're going so fast and you've got to do a quick turn and you don't know where you're supposed to go, and you just go straight ahead because it looks like you're on the ice and you're not, and you go in the water. But the actual cover shooting part are absolutely superb. I will say that for the car sections, the only positive really is that the cars handle really well. So yeah, swings and roundabouts, eh? So we've got Bourne Conspiracy, brilliant game. This was a game that back in the day, he's not on YouTube I don't think anymore, a guy called Nemesis did a gameplay of, and I had played the demo. The demo was terrible because it takes one section out of the game where you do a quick time moment. It doesn't represent the game whatsoever. And so I dismissed the game, and I saw Nemesis playing it back in the day, and I thought, man, that looks really good. It's a really good third-person cover shooter, and it's actually a really good game. I played through it a few times, and I definitely recommend it. It's a lot of fun to play through. You don't have to know much about the Bourne films or even like them. It's just a really good action game. Got Black Ops, which is a great Vietnam title. Got Black Ops 2, which I personally would probably say is a better game. It's got some, remember right, it's got some futuristic bits in this and that. I really like Black Ops 2. I thought the storyline was really good. I mean, the COD games always look great, and I always enjoy the campaigns, even the bad ones. I enjoy them. We've got, oh yeah, one of my favourites, Ghosts, which is to me the most underrated campaign in Call of Duty. Absolutely great story. Really enjoyed this one a lot. Then we've got Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, which at the time blew my mind. I haven't been back to it since. I don't know. I really, at the time, it was really revolutionary and was like, man, this game's incredible. But it's never really stuck with me, that one hasn't. We've got Modern Warfare 2, which was my least favourite because of the no Russian mission. I thought it was distasteful. The actual level design and everything, still fun. Then we've got my favourite, Modern Warfare 3, which I absolutely love. One of my favourite, yeah, easily one of my favourite top 3 Call of Duty games, easily. Brilliant. I've played this loads of times. I just love everything about that. The story, the level design, the African section, just, everything about that, the submarine, it's just a beautiful game. And the next one is Enemy Front. A game that for a long time critics and fans alike were telling me this is absolutely terrible and broken and a mess and you shouldn't play it. And I just wanted to play it because I was interested to see how bad it actually is. It's not. It's a really great World War II first-person shooter. The graphics are absolutely stunning. I do think it probably pushes the console too much, and that's why the frame rate suffers, because it can be really sluggish at times. But it's great. It's kind of like first-person shooter meets open world game as well, which is kind of odd, because you'll be going down a lane and you're trying to get to the next checkpoint of the mission, and you'll just hear random people having an argument, and you'll be able to go off the beaten track, and you'll see some Germans harassing some locals, and you can choose to leave them there to get killed, or you can shoot the Germans. It's really cool. I absolutely love that game. I don't know why people hate it so much. I think it's just probably one of those games where the media has slagged it off so much that most people just don't bother playing it and just go along with, oh, it's crap. Trust me, if you've never played it, give it a shot if you like World War II games. It's brilliant. Next one is Enslaved Odyssey to the West. I need to go back to this one. I never completed it because as much as I enjoyed the game, it's a third-person action game where you use 2 characters. I got stuck really far into the game because the camera was absolutely diabolical and it drove me insane. So I was kind of annoyed about that, and so yeah, I ended up just not going back to it. I really need to do it. That's why I picked it up actually. I got it from CEX a few months back now, and I really need to get back on that. Next up, great, another Bond game, classic, GoldenEye Reloaded, which is the PS3 and 360 version of the brilliant reboot that we got on the Wii, which is one of my absolute favourite games of all time. I love that game. Incredible reimagining of the original GoldenEye from the N64. The level design is fleshed out, there's more to do. The graphics are absolutely stunning, the music's brilliant, the sound effects, but the acting's awesome. It's just absolutely superb. Of course, you know, you do have Daniel Craig in a Pierce Brosnan role, but hey, whatever. They're all the same character. Yeah, I absolutely love that game. GoldenEye is just spectacular. Then we've got Grand Theft Auto 4, my favourite Grand Theft Auto of all time. I know a lot of people don't think that, but I personally, I liked the more serious tone and the character of Nico Bellic and his brother Roman, who's a complete knob, and I just loved everything about that. I had so much fun. I played through it a few times now. With games like that, they're not exactly easy to play through many times because they take so long. But GTA 4 is just exceptional. I just remember it coming out and playing it, I was just like blown away by it. Absolutely incredible game. Then we have the DLC, which is, what is it? Grand Theft Auto 4 anyway, DLC. Lost and the Damned and the Ballad of Gay Tony, which I've not really played through. I tried playing the Lost and the Damned. I was never that keen on the motorbike section, motorbike part of the story, so I was never that interested. Ballad of the Gay Tony, I played it a little bit. I really need to go back and play this, but it's really weird because I loved the game so much. I thought GTA 4 was so well done, but I never really got on with the DLC. That's really strange. And we got GTA 5, which a game that, to be quite honest with you, I can't remember if I got it on PS4 originally, I think, years ago. And I just didn't like it. I hated Trevor. I thought Trevor was such an annoying twat, and the game just irritated me so much, and I just couldn't play it. And then, like, when I got my PS3, GTA 5 came with my PS3 when I got it from eBay about a year ago or so. And I just thought, you know what, one day I just thought, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to try and play this game, because everyone raves about GTA 5. I need to give it a fair shake. And I just sat down and it all clicked. And as much as Trevor is an annoying twat, he wasn't as bad as I remember him being. I kind of just, you know, you just accept it, because you've still got Michael and Franklin who are better characters. I don't think it's a patch on the other GTA games. It's got a great story and it's fun. I mean, the level design's great and the graphics are gorgeous. But I just found the story was kind of like mediocre compared to what we got in GTA 4. It's just didn't really speak to me in that way. I know, as I say, a lot of people don't like GTA 4 because it's it's more serious, but you know, it's better that we don't all have the same opinions, isn't it, really? This game is a game that blew me away when it came out. One of the best games of that generation. That is Heavy Rain from Quantic Dream. Incredible, absolutely incredible game. You play as multiple different characters from multiple different angles, trying to find out who the origami killer is. I think there's like 12 endings in total, which I've only ever had one ending. Mainly not because I don't really feel the need to go back and do that and try and get multiple endings, which is not really my thing anyway, but more so that I was so satisfied with my ending, even though I did end up killing a few of the characters, unfortunately. But I just felt satisfied with the ending I got and the story I'd been told, so I didn't really want to just keep going back and trying to find alternatives. But it's an exceptional game. It just absolutely blew my mind at the time because it's so different to anything I'd ever played at that point. Then we've got Homefront, which is an alright first-person shooter set in North Korea. It's not great. Way too short as well. We've got Infamous, which is a brilliant third-person action game, open world. Love Infamous. And then they've got the better one, which is Infamous 2, which is absolutely superb. Way more colourful. The first one's quite dark and grey. This one's really bright and punchy and beautiful. And yeah, I love Infamous 2, man. I hope we get an Infamous 3 at some point. Obviously, we had Second Son on the PS4, which I still haven't played yet. I mean, when I say played, I haven't played properly because I got it when it came out and I didn't like it and I put it away. So I need to get that back and actually play the full game. I got annoyed by it very quickly. Got Kane and Lynch 2. Didn't like the first one. This one, very short, extremely short. Really fun though. Very violent, adult, third-person action game, cover shooter. Really, really fun. It's exceptionally short. I mean, it would be over before you know it. But the violence is just awesome. So it's really, really fun to run through this one. Then we've got Killzone 2, which is shit. The controls, graphics are great. Controls are absolutely diabolical and I hate the game. Killzone 3, which is the opposite, which has great graphics, great controls, bloody boring story. Yeah, a bit disappointed on that one. Next up, we've got, let me see. Oh, so I told you we've got a few. So obviously a classic, The Last of Us. Everybody knows what The Last of Us is. It's brilliant. Recently played through it again, and it's just, yeah, it's phenomenal. Then we've got Mafia 2, best Mafia game. Love this game. I played it about 6 months to a year ago. I can't remember exactly when, but I played through it again. Still holds up, still got a great storyline, brilliant acting, incredible gameplay, awesome game. Max Payne 3, my favourite Max Payne game, and one of the best games of this generation. Incredible third-person action. It's just, I love everything. I love the storyline, I love the voice of Max, I love the dialogue, I love the action, I love everything about this game is perfection. Medal of Honor Airborne, another one of my absolute favourite Medal of Honor games and one of my absolute favourite World War II shooters. This game is awesome. It gets so unfairly treated and unrepresented. People just don't talk about this game, and it's so good. The mechanic of being able to parachute in and tackle your objectives in any order you want and to land where you want to. And it's really tough as well, so it gives you a real good challenge. Brilliant game. We've got Medal of Honor Tier 1. I've played it about 1 million times at this point. I absolutely love this game. I love the characters, the storyline. Everything about this is incredible, and it's really unfortunate that it wasn't well received because this game's awesome. And then its sequel, which is Warfighter, which is even better and has an absolutely phenomenal story. They take the story to another level compared to the first game, and the characters are just unbelievable. It's such an emotional ride. I love this game. Prince of Persia, the cel-shaded one with Nolan North. Never really put much time into this. It's okay. I was never that keen on the art style, so I just picked it up to give it another try. Prince of Persia Forgotten Sands, brilliant game. Played through it, hard as nails. Controls are really complex, but it's an absolutely awesome game. One of the best Prince of Persia games. I would actually say probably, besides the original, this is my favourite. We got Resistance. Brilliant launch title, doesn't hold up well graphically now unfortunately, but very hard for first person shooter, but a lot of fun, great characters, really cool storyline, something a little different at the time, nice sci-fi as well, very cool. I've got Resistance 2, which I just can't, I've tried playing it a few times, I've never managed to finish it, I get bored too quick with this one. Very nice and colourful though. The first one was very dour, like Infamous, the first one was grey, this one is very bright and colourful. Again, great story though. We've got Resistance 3, which I've played a fair bit of. I got a bit stuck, got a bit bored. It's a completely different storyline and plot and everything. I think, if I remember right, it's a different character as well. It wasn't Nathan Hale in this one. Yeah, I think this is more of a resistance story than the others were. Like as in like a ground resistance, not an army resistance. But I will put more time into it. I will go back and try and finish it because I want to try and enjoy that one. Then we've got, oh god, Ridge Racer Unbound. Please excuse the state of the case, I need to buy some new cases. Ridge Racer Unbounded, bought this because I heard how bad it was and I always wanted to try it being a Ridge Racer fan. I love the franchise. It's Burnout basically, it's just all it is. It's okay, it looks nice, but it's not a Ridge Racer game. Then we have a great game called The Saboteur, which I've played through and loved. Third person action, it's an open world game like GTA, set in France during World War II, where the really cool thing is that everything's black and white, and as you liberate each area they come into colour, which was a really good idea. Honestly, the controls are a bit rough now. It doesn't hold up that well in terms of the controls, but the game itself, the story, the characters and everything, brilliant. So definitely recommend this one. Then we've got Saints Row the Third. Great game, really fun. I prefer the first game on the Xbox 360, which was an exclusive, because it's more of a GTA clone. Whereas these are just really silly and stupid and over the top, which, you know, I enjoy that, it's fun, but I kind of like the seriousness. I like serious stuff. Then we've got Mega Drive Ultimate Collection. I mean, self-explanatory, Mega Drive games, quality. I've got Spec Ops The Line, which is a brilliant game. Seriously, another one that's massively underrated for some reason. Some people talk about it, but it doesn't really get the respect it deserves, I think. It's a really cool and interesting take on the genre. The storyline is quite dark, and you know, you have choices to make, and it's very violent, and it's really made to think. It's made to make you think about the consequences of war. Very cool game, very interesting and different. Then we got an absolutely phenomenal game, one of the most played games of last generation for me, and also this generation, and that is Tomb Raider: The Reboot from 2013. I've talked about it before, but I'm going to say it again. I've played the game too many times. I played through it on the PS3, PS4, Xbox 360 and Xbox One. I absolutely love it. It's one of my absolute favourite games of the last 7 years. It's incredible. I'm actually currently playing through it yet again on PS4, and I'm still loving it. The sequels were good, but they're never going to be as great as the first one. That one is just an exceptional game. Then we have a sealed copy of Uncharted Drake's Fortune because I haven't unwrapped it yet. Obviously I have finished it, I've played it when it came out, but I picked this up a while back, like last year. It was going cheap and I thought I'm grabbing a sealed copy. So yeah, I don't need to say much, do I? Uncharted games are just the best. My favourite games of that generation. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, the best one of all. Love that game. And Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception, which is a really, really great game. Actually, I really like it. Got the best end boss fight as well compared to the other two, because the other two are a bloody nightmare, especially number 2. I hate number 2's boss, Lazarevic, but this one did it a lot better. All 3 games, all brilliant, all great stories, all great characters. You cannot go wrong with Uncharted. And then the last game I got is Virtua Tennis 3, because I just fancied a bit of arcade tennis. Okay, and PS4 time. So I only had the PS4 for a short while, and I haven't bought that many games for it yet, obviously because of price, so I'm waiting for price drops. There's a massive library of games, so over time I will build a lot more PlayStation 4 games because I want to play a lot of games. But I've got a small amount of games that I'm going to show you, so let's just crack on. And the first one I've got is a VR game, which is Blood and Truth, which is an evolution of a light gun game. It's a Cockney gangster storyline, and it's just incredible. Honestly, VR is really difficult to show. You have to experience it, you know. If you show it on a video, it never looks, you can't, it's really hard to explain VR, it really is. You can get an idea. I mean, like before I got my headset, I was skeptical. I thought, I don't see what the big deal is. And I thought also, because you can't walk around the room, you're just moving your head around, it's going to be a bit pointless. But once you put that headset on and you play, it all comes into place and you go, ah, got it, I understand what VR is now. And the interaction in that game with the environment, climbing ladders and things, is just the most ridiculously insane thing when you do it. It really does trick your mind, and it's a great game. And the gunfights, when you get the motion, when you're in the flow and you're just shooting people and they're popping out of everywhere, oh, it's just awesome. Such a good game. Then we got Call of Duty World War II. Brilliant first-person shooter, great campaign. I love my Call of Duty campaigns, as I say. That is a really fun one. I'm glad they went back to World War II because we don't get enough World War II games anymore. I need to get that Battlefield one, or was it Battlefield 5? I need to try that. I've got Doom, which is an evolution of obviously the classic franchise. It's really cool in this day and age that we can actually have a game like this where it's not all just massively story driven. Obviously it has a small story, but really it's just Doom, and it's about running around and blasting demons. It's great. Another underrated game that I absolutely love, which is Knack, a real throwback to the 90s with the 3D platformers. Brilliant game. Need to get Knack 2. I used to own it. Got stuck really far into it. I need to get that back. Quite difficult to find and all like that. A few copies have been popping up now, but there was a time a few months ago I couldn't find it, which was odd. Then we've got the game I've just played through recently, which is The Last of Us Remastered. As I said on the PS3 section, great game. Everyone knows how good this is. It's fantastic. Good thing is this has got a DLC as well. I've never played Left Behind, so I've just started that and it's pretty decent so far. Mafia 3, incredible game. Absolutely stunning open world game. I love the setting of New Bordeaux. I love the character of Lincoln Clay. I've played this game many times now. I'm always going back and playing through this campaign. It's absolutely superb. The action in it is just brilliant. It's brutal. It's fun. It's got an incredibly great story and brilliant characters. And yeah, man, I don't know. I think some people don't like this game for some reason, but I think this game's phenomenal. Red Dead 2, not very good. Love the first game, but I'm telling you, I can't get on with that game. It drives me insane, number 2 does. It's too realistic. It's like, it's supposed to be a video game. It ain't real life. I'm not in the Old West for real. I'm not really riding a horse. But you know, everyone keeps saying, oh, but the more you play it, the more hours you put into it, eventually you'll level yourself up and be able to get, I'm like, I can't be arsed with all that. You know, if I'm riding a horse and I've got to ride across a map for miles, I can't be having the horse getting tired every 5 seconds. It drives me insane. I just can't get on with the game at all. And it's really annoying because the first game is so brilliant. But there you go. We've got Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I enjoyed. Good game. Not as good as the first one, but better than Rise. Let's put it that way. Very beautiful game though. Very nice. Not enough shooting, that's the problem. Spider-Man, which was one I was looking forward to, and I really enjoyed this a lot. Absolutely brilliant. Great story. The swinging through the city alone is just worth playing this game. Never mind the actual missions. Really fun. I had a lot of trouble with the boss battles, but I found out later it was my own fault because I didn't upgrade my suit. So I tried to make it too difficult for myself. But I did complete it and I really enjoyed it. And I love the fact that you get to play as, was it Mary Jane? I think it's Mary Jane. And also Miles Morales as well. So they don't just let you play as Peter Parker, they mix it up again. Which, you know, is a great thing. I really enjoyed that they do that. Just like I said earlier on the PlayStation 2 section with 24 the game. They give you a bit of variety. They don't go for the obvious. Brilliant game. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, as I said in the PS3 section, one of my favourite games that I've played on 4 different consoles now. I've played it at least 15 plus times, maybe 20 plus times. I'm currently playing this version again, and I absolutely love this game to bits, including the film as well, which was awesome. Watch Dogs, another game that for some reason some people don't seem to like, but I absolutely loved it. I know a lot of the critics now were slagging off the character of Aiden Pearce and the storyline. I actually really like this story. I've played through it many times, and I don't skip the cutscenes because I enjoy the story and the characters. I like Joey and all. Was it Joey? I think it was, yeah. Really cool. And even Rob Zombie as well. But yeah, this is brilliant. I don't like the sequel. This one's a lot better. It's a lot more fun. The gunplay is really visceral and really tense, and I just love the way they laid this game out. It's just an exceptional game. And then the last one, of course, is Uncharted 4, which is phenomenal. Challenges number 2 for being the best one. It's really hard to really pick between those two, but I absolutely adore this game. Everything about it, man. Again, like all the Uncharted, it has a brilliant story, brilliant characterization, and it just keeps you on the edge of your seat, and the action is ridiculous in this game. The gunfights are just so cool. It's just a phenomenal game. So there you go, guys. That is the entirety of my PlayStation collection as it is right now in 2020. As I say, the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 4 will grow over time. I will do pickups and show those games. And maybe in the future, when I've got a lot more games, I'll do another one of these videos if you like it. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below as always, and I'll see you in the next video.